Hey guys, welcome to the WAG Station. I'm Yoshi, Data Gen Z himself. And you know what? I could go for some nostalgia right about now. So you know what? I'm finally gonna take advantage of the fact that I'm in a... And I'll let my brain do two things at once. One part of my brain will drift through some nostalgic memories, while the other part of my brain will talk about one of the best sequels to a fighting game ever. So hey, check this out. It is so sad that we never got something like this ever again in Smash Bros. So Super Smash Bros. Melee was first revealed in E3 2001, along with the GameCube as a whole. And people must have been pissed when Ridley wasn't actually playable in Melee, except for the one guy that recognized the Ice Climbers. I bet he's happy. I'd love to meet that guy someday. Now anyways, what's a Super Smash Bros.? Well, it's a Nintendo crossover fighting game for one, but it's different from any other fighting game, except for recently now there's tons of Smash Bros. Knockoffs these days. But unlike most fighting games, instead of having a health bar, there's a percentage that gets higher, and the higher percentage you have, the further knockback you get from a single hit. And plus, special attacks are easier to perform instead of doing this absolutely absurd button combination. It's just two buttons at once. Usually a direction on the joystick and the B button. Or just the B button even. Nothing's better than drifting through some memories.
My dream man has to be...
Yo, what's up, my guy?
Yo, wait, what? What are you doing here?
I mean, you made me in your mind by after doing that weird memory thing that's going on with you.
No, it isn't weird. I'm just taking advantage that I'm in this whole coma thing.
No, that's not that. Like, no, you're making these emphases right now.
So, let's check out the roster for Smash Melee. So not only does Smash Melee have all 12 fighters from the original Smash Bros., but adds 13 new ones as well. God, this game is impressive because of how much stuff they added in such a little time from the original game coming out. And you'll see more on that as I keep on going with this whole topic. But our first newcomer here is Bowser. He just makes sense to be here. It's the main Super Mario villain. Just the only problem with him in this game is that I think he is a little bit too slow, and his attacks are really freaking easy to dodge. But other than that, great inclusion for Smash Brothers. Then we got Princess Peach next. Another great inclusion. You gotta include the girl that gets kidnapped in every Mario game. Famous enough already right there. Next we got the Ice Climbers. Kind of an odd inclusion at first, but I quite enjoy this. This introduced the fact that you can get some obscure characters from obscure games in Nintendo's history as a fighter. I personally think that that's really cool. Plus, I kind of enjoy the Ice Climbers as an actual fighter in general. I really like the gimmick of having two at once, but then one is a little bit delayed. It can make some good strategizing with them. And for all the really good Melee players out there, note that, I think, right? They did figure out how to wobble as them, so yeah. Next we got Zelda. Finally, you got Zelda to be one of the reps for the Zelda series. Once again, I feel like there's still some people out there that think that Link is named Zelda. Like, there ain't no way that there's none now. But Zelda is actually pretty cool, because she can actually swap between, well, Zelda and Sheik, and Sheik is probably the better character here, not gonna lie. And then next we got Mewtwo. Mewtwo is a pretty popular Pokemon, especially with the fact that the Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back movie came out not that long ago from Melee. So he just makes sense to be here, plus he's the big final boss thingy in Pokemon Red and Blue in the first place. Then we got Mr. Game & Watch. Just like the Ice Climbers, it's something more obscure, but I feel like Game & Watch might have been somewhat well known more than Ice Climbers. I like the fact that he's here. And then we got Marth, coming from the Fire Emblem series. If only people knew that the other Smash games coming forward, there was going to be lots and lots of Fire Emblem characters. But you know what? Marth makes sense to be here. He was part of the first Fire Emblem game ever made. Sure, it wasn't localized over here, but because of Smash Melee, we started getting Fire Emblem games localized over here, which honestly is really cool. And the next 6 fighters that are new to this game are clone characters, but they have like slight differences between the actual fighter they're cloning. So first we got Dr. Mario, which is a clone of Mario Mario. Basically, the only difference is he throws pills instead of fireballs. But his attacks are a little bit slower and his attacks are a little bit stronger. That's all you're really getting out of this. Then you got Falco, a clone of Fox. He got a little bit less of a clone in later Smash games, but Falco is practically just Fox in this game. And then we got Pichu, a clone of Pikachu. Pichu, I feel like, was definitely thrown in as a joke, because Pichu actually damages herself with any attacks that have electricity on it, which I personally think is funny. But as well, Pichu is a little bit faster than Pikachu to make up for it, but that's all you really got. Then we got Ganondorf, which is surprisingly a clone of Captain Falcon, except Ganondorf is way slower than Captain Falcon, but also stronger, just like how Dr. Mario is slower but stronger compared to Mario. Then we got Young Link, and no surprise here, yes, he's a clone of Link, but younger. It's different, totally. Me personally, I haven't really found any given differences about him. I think it might be just faster and weaker attacks, maybe. That's about it. And then we got Roy, which is a clone of Marth, also coming from Fire Emblem, of course. Roy's Fire Emblem game never even got released yet when Smash Melee came out, which is honestly jumping the shot. But honestly, I like Roy as a character. Sure, yeah, he's literally just Marth, but I like his fire attacks and it looks cool. But yeah, that's all the new fighters in Smash Melee. But next year, it's time to talk about the best part about Melee, the actual fighting gameplay. The gameplay in this Smash Brothers game is actually so goated as hell. It's the fastest it's ever been, and faster is better, you know, in fighting games. I can do slower fighting games, I'm able to get used to them, but I don't really prefer them, you know? And I think Melee has the best gameplay out of any other Smash Brothers game, even though that I completely suck at it. Because look at me, I main Ness. And Luigi too, so maybe that makes up for it. But the other side of the gameplay, it is a little bit janky. Hey, I can't really blame them, because, you know, they pumped out this game so fast, and it's damn impressive. Sure, it's unbalanced, sure there's uncompleted stuff, sure you can't grab ledges properly on certain stages, but honestly, I think that's kind of the whole experience of Melee now. I think everyone's so used to it, and they think it's like, oh, that doesn't matter, that's just kind of funny. And I agree with them. Man, honestly, I'm getting pretty sick of this. I just want to be able to wake up.
Word.
Like, yeah, it's been cool having easy access to all my games to play, but it just doesn't feel the same, you know?
Word.
What the f*** does that mean?
Word.
That's it, yours. Oh no! Alright, I might as well talk about the stages. Now there is a lot of stages in Melee compared to Smash 64. You can tell because there's 4 Mario stages, 2 stages for every other Nintendo series, except for Ice Climber and Game & Watch. There's only 1 stage, and Fire Emblem gets nothing! Now some highlights. Of course you got your typical Battlefield and Final Destination, but some of my favorites are Princess Peach's Castle, Yoshi's Island, Congo Jungle because it has the DK rap, Onett and Forside because I'm an absolute huge EarthBound fan, Mute City is pretty cool, Pokemon Stadium, Brinstar Depths, and hell, even some of the returning stages from Smash 64, like Smash 64's Congo Jungle. But yeah, there is a couple of sucky stages like Icicle Mountain, but honestly, I think Icicle Mountain should return in the next Smash Brothers game. Maybe just tone down on the auto-scrolling, because dang, the auto-scrolling is a little bit too fast in this game. Actually, not a little bit, it's way too fast! But now, what do you do if you're alone in Melee? Lose the fucking C-stick. That's what. Yeah, before I dive into the single-player content here, for some reason you just can't use the C-stick the way it normally does. Instead of it being used as smash attacks, now it's exactly what the C-stick usually does in 3D games. The camera. What? First thing we got to do here is Classic Mode. It's exactly like the one-player mode from Smash 64, but this time it's randomized. This is the way that I like Classic Mode to be. Next we got Adventure Mode. This mode is really cool. You actually just take any fighter you want and explore worlds based off of Nintendo Worlds itself. Of course, we got our typical Mario ones, anything like that. Basically, every Nintendo series here, it's also here in an Adventure Mode. And it's all represented so well, except for later in Adventure Mode when it's just nothing but battles, and that is just so damn lame. I feel like if it toned down on the battles and and maybe put a little bit more depth into the actual adventure in this game, it would be so much better. But the way it is, it's pretty fine as is. Next we got All-Star Mode. All-Star Mode is definitely one of my favorite modes. You fight every single character in the game in a random order. Later entries it went in order of appearance in video game history, which I kind of like that, but honestly I think having it randomized is a lot more interesting. Basically, All-Star Mode is pretty strategic. What happens is, if you take damage in the fight, you keep that with you for the rest of the entire All-Star match. But there's 3 healing items, and you can either choose to say, hey, I think I'm pretty good, it's a low amount of damage anyways, I'll do just fine. Or you're like, oh yeah, this is getting a little bit scary, I should probably heal up. I like that. All-Star Mode is an incredible mode to me. Next we got the event matches. They're basically just fights, but with different little rules. Anything really happens in them. They're just small little bite-sized fights that you can do whenever. I like this feature enough. And then we got Stadium. You can do target test, nothing beats home run contest, and then multi-man melee. Stadium is always nice to have in any Smash Brothers game, not gonna lie. I honestly can't live without it. And that's ending off the single player content. Now, introduced in this game was one of my favorite things in any Smash game. You see, in Smash 64 there was character bios, but here in Melee, there's trophies. And it isn't just the fighters either. You got characters that are exclusive to Smash Brothers itself. You got Kirby hats. You got characters not from Smash Brothers. You even got characters from games that never released yet. Overall, the trophies in this game, I love. I love seeing history and bonus content in any games. It's my favorite part of a game when it's just randomly there just for no reason. Even if it's just a small amount, it's cool seeing this kind of stuff.
Man, I'm dead.
Not anymore, you're not.
Wait, what?
Wow, thanks, I'm still not a real person.
Wow, no problem. I'm still not awake. So overall, I think Melee is a great entry in the Smash Brothers series. But for some strange reason, it's definitely not my favorite. But it has some of the best gameplay and introduced some of the best features that I can't live without in later Smash games. I think it probably has something to do with the roster of characters. And I know that sounds really stupid. Trust me, I think it's kind of stupid too. Almost half of the characters that got added here are clone characters. And as much as some of the clone characters are like cool, and those are really famous Nintendo characters. Like you got Ganondorf, of course, but why did you clone him to be Captain Falcon? I'm sure you could have thought up of something. But hey, I praise them so much for what they've done in just 2 years from the original. So I can't blame them for that. So that's why, sure, Melee may not be my favorite Smash Bros. Entry, but it's definitely the one that I have the most respect for. And I just wanted to say, thank you, Melee, for all the great stuff you did for this series. And with that, that was Super Smash Bros. Melee. But yeah, this whole coma thing is getting really, really weird for me. I need to escape from this. Why won't I wake up from this? Please wake up.
No, not right now.